It took me over 30 years to understand this. But you might be about to grasp in just 15 minutes something that could have taken you a whole lifetime to figure out. Ever stop to wonder how many years you've spent fighting, restarting, struggling, only to find out later that maybe, just maybe, it all could have been easier, faster, lighter, if you had heard the right thing at the right time? What I'm about to share might sound simple, but it's one of those truths that hits deep, that flips your whole perspective, that you can't unhear. You can keep living on autopilot, or give yourself 15 minutes to change the game, because there's a massive difference between knowing something and actually living it. Introduction. The truth is, we pay a high price for not knowing what really matters, and that cost doesn't show up in bills. It shows up in lost years, poor decisions, broken relationships, and that constant sinking feeling that no matter how hard you try, you're still falling behind. This video isn't a shortcut, but it is the map I wish someone had handed me before I turned 30. A set of realizations that seem obvious once you hear them, but remain invisible while you're stuck in the noise of the world. Or worse, the noise inside your own mind. If you're still watching, it means some part of you is tired of running in circles, so stick with me. Each chapter in this video is a piece of a puzzle. And once it clicks, you might never see your life the same way again. Chapter 1. The invisible mindset that's controlling your life. Have you ever wondered why some people see opportunities where others only see roadblocks? Why two people can face the same challenge and respond in completely opposite ways? The answer lies in how they see the world, and that has a name: mindset. But here's the catch. Your mindset isn't something you choose every morning. It's more like a wallpaper inside your mind, one you don't even notice anymore. Yet it silently shapes everything you think, feel, and do. It's like being in a room with blue lighting and thinking the whole world is blue, until someone drags you outside. These thinking patterns that guide your behavior and your limitations were built from your upbringing, your past, your beliefs, your traumas. And the most dangerous part? Most of those ideas have never been questioned. You're acting as if the world works a certain way. But maybe it never did. You believe you're bad with money, that love never works out for you, that you have to work twice as hard just to keep up. But what if that's just a faulty mental blueprint you've been following? Your mind is like a lens. It doesn't show the world as it is. It shows the world as you've been programmed to see it. It took me years to realize it wasn't the obstacles stopping me. It was the lens I was using to see them. For example, one person hears no and takes it as rejection. Another hears no and sees it as a signal to adjust the route. Someone might say, "This isn't for me." Someone else, "What do I need to learn to make this possible?" This isn't about toxic positivity. It's about realizing you're not reacting to reality. You're reacting to the version of reality that exists inside your head. So how do you change it? Here's one powerful tool: reverse thinking. Start from the end. Ask yourself, if I had already achieved this, how would I think? How would I act? Another game changer? Challenge your beliefs. If you believe I'm a slow learner, intentionally look for proof that contradicts it. Recall times when you did learn something quickly. That's how you weaken the old mental script. Is it hard? Yeah. But want to know what's harder? Living stuck inside an outdated mindset that keeps you small. The good news? You can upgrade your mental model. The bad news? Nobody can do it for you. Chapter 2. Be careful what distracts you. Your life is being stolen. You're not just losing time. You're losing life. And you don't even realize it. We're living in an age where everything is fighting for your attention. Notifications, short videos, breaking news, hot takes, other people's emergencies. But hardly anyone understands this. When you give away your attention, you're giving away the most precious thing you've got. Here's the hard truth. What you focus on grows. What you ignore dies. Even your dreams. And no one ever taught you how to protect your attention. School taught you how to manage time, follow schedules, obey rules, but they never taught you to guard your focus like it's sacred. And here's the real problem. You might have 24 hours in a day. But if your attention is scattered in 300 different directions, you're not living a full day. You're living fragments. A real-life metaphor. It's like trying to fill a bucket that's full of holes. You pour in your energy, your intention, your effort, but everything leaks. Just when you sit to focus, a video pops up, a notification dings, someone calls your name. You remember something else. By the end of the day, what mattered got pushed to later. And that later turns into never. Here's the insight that flipped everything for me. The world isn't stealing your time. It's stealing your ability to choose what to focus on. The modern economy isn't driven by money anymore. It's driven by attention. And guess who wins? Not the smartest, not the busiest, but the one who knows how to ignore. The power of selective ignorance. You don't need to know everything. You need to filter. You need to say no to noise. To turn off your phone when your soul is screaming for silence. To ignore the urgent, so you can protect what's important. And most of all, you've got to stop treating your attention like it's unlimited. It's not. It runs out. And if you waste it on what doesn't matter, there won't be enough left to build a life that does. Chapter 3. Everything is a decision. You just don't see it. If I asked you right now, what was the most important decision you made today? Would you have an answer? Most people pause, because we've been conditioned to think decisions are only the big ones, like moving to a new city, quitting a job, ending a relationship. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Life doesn't change with big decisions. It changes with small decisions made every single day. You decide whether to get out of bed or hit snooze. You decide whether to avoid or confront that hard conversation. You decide to eat what nourishes you or what numbs you. You decide to go inward or keep scrolling. You're always deciding, but most of it happens without awareness. And that's the problem. You think you're in control of your life, but really, your life is being driven by automatic emotional reactive choices. Life is a series of silent crossroads, and every small choice is either building or destroying your future. Here are 3 decision tools that changed everything for me. 1. The 72-hour rule. If something feels urgent, pause. Wait 3 days before making a big move. That gap between impulse and action, that's where clarity lives. Second-order thinking. Don't just ask, what happens if I do this? Ask, and what happens after that? Example, that new job might sound great now, but what about the lifestyle, the stress, the long-term alignment with your values? Think beyond the surface. 3. Inversion. Thinking, instead of asking, how do I get what I want? Ask, what's currently stopping me? Often, it's not about adding more effort. It's about removing what's in the way. Decisions aren't single events. They're part of a system. If you don't learn to manage your internal decision-making system, you'll keep reacting instead of creating. Every choice you make is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. And no one stumbles into success. It's built with tiny, conscious choices, day after day. Chapter 4. Knowing changes nothing. Doing changes everything. How many times have you read a powerful book, watched a life-changing video, heard a quote that gave you goosebumps and thought, this is it, now I'm ready? But a few days later, you're right back where you started. It's because there's a massive gap between understanding something and living like it's true. Knowing you need to change doesn't change anything. What changes your life is what you do with that knowledge, consistently. We live in an age where information is everywhere, but people are still stuck in the same patterns. Why? Because we confuse knowledge with transformation. We confuse listening with applying. We confuse inspiration with action. The learning paradox. Everyone praises people who read 50, 100 books a year, but no one talks about the person who actually applies just one insight, over and over. It took me years to realize, one powerful insight, practiced 100 times, is more valuable than 100 insights forgotten. The secret? Micro-actions with consistency. Transformation doesn't happen on breakthrough days. It happens when you commit to doing the simple things, every single day. Not reading another book on habits, but actually doing 5 minutes of habit practice. Not planning the entire year, but executing one powerful week. Not waiting for motivation to return, but acting even when you don't feel like it. We don't need more information. We need courage to do what we already know we need to do. A simple example. You know you should sleep better, eat cleaner, move your body, manage your emotions. But how many of those things do you actually do? Every day. Knowing is easy. Doing, even in the face of resistance, is where real change lives. Chapter 5. Stop relying on willpower. It will betray you. There's a belief that a lot of people carry like it's gospel. If I just try hard enough, I'll make it. But let me share something that took me decades to understand. Willpower is a limited resource. It fails, it drains, it runs out, and when it runs out, you fall back into old habits, old patterns, old excuses. Not because you're weak, but because you're trying to win a tough game, using a tool that doesn't last all day. Willpower is like a phone battery. It starts full in the morning, but with every decision, distraction, and emotionally draining moment, it depletes. By evening, you're not lazy. You're mentally exhausted. And when you're exhausted, you don't choose what's best. You choose what's easiest. Want to know who understands this perfectly? People who build systems. What are systems? Systems are structures that make the right thing, the easiest thing to do. Want to eat healthier? Don't rely on willpower. Keep healthy food ready and visible. Want to work out? Schedule it. Pay in advance. Lay out your clothes the night before. Want to study more? Create a distraction-free space and commit to a fixed time. Disciplined people aren't superhuman. They've just built a life where the right choices take less effort. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So stop blaming yourself. You're not undisciplined. You're just trying to live an extraordinary life, with a strategy based solely on effort and no structure. And that doesn't work in the long run. Chapter 6. The kind of success that destroys you. Without you noticing, there's something worse than failing. It's winning and losing yourself in the process. Most people think success is the final destination, the big prize, the I made it. But here's the dangerous truth. Success, if not handled wisely, can become your biggest enemy. Because when you start getting results, you gain something very tricky. The illusion of control. You relax. You repeat what worked. You cling to past strategies. And slowly, you stop evolving. The cruel paradox of success. To reach success, you had to grow, stretch, adapt. But once you get there, success rewards you for staying the same. And what got you here might not take you any further. Here are 3 success traps that took me down. And could take you too. 1. Perfectionism in disguise. Now that people are watching, you stop taking risks. You're afraid to fail. Afraid to mess up the thing you've built. But without mistakes, there's no more learning. 2. Fear of starting over. You've built something, even if it's limited. Letting go feels terrifying, but sometimes you have to release the good to make space for the great. 3. The golden comfort zone. This one's sneaky, because it doesn't feel bad. Your life looks fine. You've got stability, maybe even praise. But deep down, there's this quiet voice whispering, this still isn't it. And yet, you don't change. Because your past success has now become a prison. So what do? You stop treating success like a final stop. You see it for what it really is, just a stage. Real success is the ability to keep growing, even after you've already won. The most fulfilled people I know aren't the ones who got everything right. They're the ones who knew when to pivot, when to say enough, when to walk away, even from things that once worked. And that takes more courage than starting. Chapter 7. You don't change what you do until you change who you believe you are. Why do so many people start something new full of motivation, only to slide right back into old habits a few days later? Because they're trying to change behavior, when what really needs to change is identity. You don't do what you want. You do what you believe someone like you would do. If deep down you still believe you're disorganized, lazy, impulsive, undisciplined, you can try to act differently for a while. But eventually, your actions snap back to where your identity is anchored. It's like pulling on a rubber band. If you don't change the anchor point, it always returns to default. Actions follow identity. You don't brush your teeth every day because of willpower. You do it because you see yourself as someone who takes care of their hygiene. It's natural. It's automatic. It's part of who you believe you are. Now think about this. What if you saw yourself as someone healthy, focused, productive, emotionally grounded? What would shift in the way you act? That's why instead of saying, I want to lose weight, say, I'm someone who takes care of my body. I want to study more. Say, I'm the kind of person who's committed to learning. Because your mind is always working to stay consistent with your identity. And you can use that to your advantage. How to start shifting your identity. 1. Daily commitments to your future self. You don't have to become a whole new person overnight. You just need to act today as if you already are, even for 5 minutes. 2. Upgrade your self-talk. Stop saying, that's just how I am. That's a prison sentence. Start saying, I'm learning to become someone who. 3. Look for proof, not perfection. Every small action is a vote for your new identity. You don't need to get it perfect. You just need consistent evidence that you're becoming who you want to be. Because lasting change isn't about trying harder. It's about becoming someone new. One decision at a time. Chapter 8. Wisdom isn't about knowing more, it's about applying what matters. There comes a point in life when you realize it's not about more information, it's about integration. You already know what you need to do. You've already heard the tough truths. You've reflected on what's been holding you back. So now, there's only one question that truly matters. What are you ready to apply? Right now. Because wisdom isn't the collection of beautiful ideas. Wisdom is your ability to take one powerful idea and live it out consistently. Most people jump from one video to the next, one book to the next, one technique to the next. But they never pause, they never commit, they never go deep with just one thing. And that's why nothing sticks, nothing transforms. If you try to master everything, you stay shallow in everything. But if you choose the essential, you go deep. And that's where change happens. So, how do you integrate? Pick one insight from this video. Just one. The one that hit you in the gut. The one that made your throat tighten. That's your starting point. Now, turn it into action. Something real. Something you can do today. Keep it small. Keep it simple. But make it real. Don't commit to intensity. Commit to consistency. Don't try to change the world in a week. Change your inner world with daily micro-actions. Conclusion. One day or day one. You choose. You don't need to change everything. You just need to start with something. Today. Right now. Maybe that means rethinking your decisions, or updating your mindset, or maybe, just maybe, it means shutting out the noise for 15 minutes and listening to yourself. Because in the end, the difference between the person who stays stuck in cycles and the one who breaks free is the one who acts even before they feel ready. If something in this video hit you, drop a comment below. I choose to apply. And share this with someone you know is ready for change too, because life doesn't wait, but it does reward those who live with intention. See you in the next one.